Hi guys, I'm Veshak and I welcome you all to my channel. Today we are going to make Italian bread fry. It's a yummy recipe. It can be served with tea, coffee, juice. It's perfect for elderly as well as kids. So let's get started with the recipe. So these are the ingredients to make Italian bread fry. I have taken 1.5 tablespoon of tomato ketchup, 1.5 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder. You can take chili flakes as well. 1.5 teaspoon of cumin seeds, that's Jeera, and salt to taste. I have taken 1 teaspoon. These are 8 to 10 slices of wholemeal bread. These are supposed to expire in the next 2 days. That's the reason I have planned to make this dish. It's going to be very tasty. 1 teaspoon of oregano, half teaspoon of mixed herbs. This is 1/4 cup of red bell pepper, 1/4 cup of yellow bell pepper, around 2 small tomatoes cut into cubes, 1 white onions cut into small cubes, 1.5 tablespoon of butter. My pan here is hot and ready. So as you can see, I've put the flame on high now. So I'm going to start adding my butter to it. It's 1.5 tablespoon of slightly salted butter. You can use whatever is available with you. It's just that we need to be a little extra cautious if at all you're using salted butter, that how much salt are you going to add later on in the recipe. That's about it. You can always of course use olive oil to it if at all you want to make it more healthier. But the amount of oil or butter your recipe will take, it all depends on how dry your bread is. So it's all depending on your quality of your bread. So as you can see, my butter is well melted. So without much ado, I'm going to add my cumin seeds to it. I'm going to give it a nice stir. Make sure that it's roasted well in the butter. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you're working with butter, because you always have that thing that it might burn, which of course you don't want. You don't want the taste of the burnt butter in your recipes in it. Now I'm going to add my oreganos and my mixed herbs. So I'm just waiting for my cumin to be more roasted. Yeah, they are right now. So I'm going to add my oregano. Here you go. And time for some mixed herbs. Here you go. Now mix. Make sure that both of them are cooked as well. Fry for a few seconds. Pan is getting a little bit more hotter, so just lifting it from the flame now. So these looks well cooked. Time to add onions. You can always cut them into slices. I like them cut like this, so that's my personal choice. So fry the onion. As you can see, you can hardly see any butter in here, but because of that, does not mean that you need to add more butter at this stage. You need to add some salt for it to dehydrate. That's what I'm going to do. The salt helps onions to dehydrate, as we all know, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. Just need to make sure they are fried well before we add the salt. So I'm going to lower the flame here. It's getting a little bit too hot now. So, and you just have to make sure that you do not cook the veggies too much. They have to be left crunchy. So here goes in the salt. Just a pinch of salt is enough to dehydrate the veggies. So this is going to dehydrate the onions a little bit. So it's going to cook in its own moisture. This recipe can be enjoyed with tea or coffee. It can be given as a morning breakfast or an evening snack. You can never go wrong with this one. You might just need more or less butter in the recipe. It all depends on the quality of the bread you're using. Time to add bell peppers. You can add both of them together. There is no problem at all. And you already have added a little bit of salt for it to dehydrate. So just let the salt do its work and just let it saute. You don't have to get any of these veggies mushy. You can also add all the three together, but I prefer it adding this way. So just toss. So as I had mentioned earlier, none of these veggies has to be mushy. They all need to be a little crunchy so that when you bite into it, you can feel the crunch a little. Of course, they don't have to be raw, they have to be well cooked. So I'm going to leave these veggies to cook for some time and I'm going to come back then. It has been approximately 2 minutes that this has been cooking. The bell peppers are 20 to 30% cooked, which is enough because we are still going to add tomatoes, which are very rich in moisture. So it's going to cook with that as well. So this is the right time to add my tomatoes in it. Look how colorful it looks. It's looking very, very nice. So now as you can see, I'm constantly mixing it because our motive here is to make sure that the tomatoes gets well cooked, but they do not get very mushy because we do not want a mushy mess. Now the tomatoes are very, very rich in antioxidants. It has vitamin C, folate, vitamin K. Onions are very rich in antioxidants, so we are using very healthy veggies. At this point in time, if at all you want to use olive oil instead of butter, if at all you're more health conscious, you're free to do that. People also like to eat this by itself because it's very, very healthy. So at the end, we're reaching some healthy point in our life, isn't it? So yeah, and keep cooking. Just keep mixing and cooking because we are almost dry roasting them at the moment because we do not have any more butter in the pan. So this has been cooking for approximately 2 minutes now, and I have not really made the tomatoes very mushy. You can still see that it's a little difficult to break into them right now. They don't get smashed easily, so they are perfect right now. Is because once we add the bread, everything is going to get cooked even more. Now it's time to add our spices like our red chili powder and our salt and everything. So to give it more flavor, of course. So you don't have to worry much about the veggies now because the rest will cook with the bread inside. So I just have to give the spices a little bit more time in the pan so that they cook well and they are well mixed. Yeah, so now you have to mix and keep mixing. Is because you need to get all the spices well blended inside. And I do not like to add tomato ketchup right now. I always like to add it after the breads are put in, but you can add it right before you add the breads in because it's easier to mix that way. But you can do it according to your preferences. That's completely fine. So now time to add some bread. I'm going to add little by little at a time and give it a good mix. So you just have to make sure that the pan that you're using is stuck on the stove properly and it is a little deeper. My pan is shallower, but the base is very broad, so that helps me. So it should also help you if you take a deeper pan because you're doing it for the first time. And if you use a deeper pan and with a broader base, that should be fine. Even a wok in this one will do, if you have it. So as you can see now this is mixed properly. I'm just trying to cook it for some more time. Of course, it's not going to get very crunchy like a toast, but we don't want it to be very mushy and soft and soggy bread that we're eating. This has to be certainly served warm. So just have to cook for some more time and it should be done. So when I was mixing this, I found it a little dry. Of course, we don't want to make it very buttery, but I had to add a half a teaspoon of butter here, just because I found it a little bit dry. So now I'm going to add my ketchup. Always, if at all you're adding ketchup on the bread, always spread the ketchup around on the bread. Do not just put it all in one place because it's easier to mix that way. Just use 2 spoons then and mix. That's how you do it. So I've put my tomato ketchup all over my pan. Now I just have to mix it. I'm going to come back once we're done with the mixing. So I had to add half a teaspoon of tomato ketchup even more, and I have been mixing it for quite some time. It had been resting for a minute or something like that. So now I just have to leave on the pan for the next 1 or 2 minutes so that it can get well cooked, and we will be ready to go then. Guys, so our Italian bread fry is ready. If you like this recipe, please like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions about this recipe, please feel free to comment down below and I will surely get back to you. As you all know, we are a new channel and I upload one recipe every week. I will also be uploading all the recipes in English and Hindi both. So please look after yourselves and I will see you again with another mouth-watering recipe. Until then, ciao!